Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well, and today we're going to be taking a look into my range bag, what I carry to the range, why I carry it to the range, and sort of an overview of your first trip to a local gun range. Because as the NICS data is going to show, there are potentially more first-time gun owners than we've ever had before. So let's talk about it. So before I really open myself up to ridicule by getting into my range bag, which I know a lot of people are going to have a lot of thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below, which you should take advantage of. The one thing I want to preface here is that for NICS, the background check system, whenever you go to purchase a firearm and they run that background check on you, just to let you guys know, in 2020, NICS recorded 39,695,315 checks. A check does not equate to a sale, but still, that's a lot of firearms being sold. 2021 was 38,876,673 checks. And so far this year in 2022, as of I think just January and February, we have 5,146,500 checks done. So there's a lot of people out there buying firearms, and I've seen tons of articles of really big, big firearm stores that have been reporting that a lot of their sales have been to first-time gun owners, which is a good thing because hopefully these first-time gun owners will turn into firearm enthusiasts. And very quickly, what I want to talk about real quick is just going to the range. So once you go out and you purchase that firearm, one good thing to do is to talk with people to find out where your local ranges are close to where you live. The reason why that's important is because you need to take where you live, kind of plot out, the ranges that you want to go to, do a dry run. Don't take your firearm, just go visit these ranges because there's going to be a lot of sort of preliminary information that you're going to need to gather. Some of that's going to be range fees, orientations, memberships, things of that nature. And there are little caveats to that because some ranges really prefer you to buy their targets. Some ranges even prefer you to buy their ammo. So these are all little tidbits of information that you're going to need before you make that first trip to the range. So once you have all that information, and most first-time gun owners usually buy a pistol. So if you're going to go to a range with the intent to just train with a pistol, then when you go to the range and do your dry run, if you will, you can actually, generally they have an employee there that can give you an orientation, that can show you around, show you what all facilities they have available, because I've seen gun ranges that only cater to people that are shooting short distances with pistols. Some allow carbines, and some have full-fledged, 1,000-yard, bolt gun ranges or longer. So this is all the information that you're going to need to get. And also there is some, let's see, how can you say this? There are some almost universal rules to gun ranges. You got gun ranges that have certain very specific rules on brass. They like you to clean up after yourself, number one, which is very important. And if the range recycles brass, I know a lot of ranges do that to help, support the cost of the range. And also, like I mentioned, buying those targets. Don't get offended if a range wants you to buy their targets. It's just a way for the range to generate money so that the range can stay in operation. So, don't think sideways about that at all. Range bag. Range bag is just going to contain the gear that you're going to take with you to the range. Now, this is something that is very subjective to you. I shoot a lot of multiple things. I shoot pistols, I shoot carbines, and I shoot bolt guns. Generally, when I go to the range, I'm shooting all three because my range is about 45 minutes from where I live. So my bag's not necessarily going to be representative of your bag, but as I go into this, I will explain each and every item in my range bag, why I have it, and what is applicable to. Now, the first thing, this is a bag from Midway, and I do stock Midway, or actually clarify that, I stock their clearance section. I have gotten several things from Midway on clearance at a very, very good price. This range bag was one of them. I got it for like really half off. And you don't necessarily have to buy a quote-unquote range bag. Any bag that will do the trick. It's just a way to keep all those contents in one place. Now, outside of this, your firearm and other items like that are going to be separate. This is just the things that you're going to take regardless, really, of what you shoot. So let's get into the front pocket, the big front zipper compartment. And this, I will say this for this bag. This is a Midway branded range bag. It's really nice. It does everything I need it to do. So in this compartment, I just have some little things, accessories that came with some of the things on my guns, which is no big deal. And I carry a lot of these little clips that are for, you can find them in office supply stores. And the range I go to for paper targets, we can clip them up with these kind of things. And plus I have some metal stand-up targets. And that's also going to be another thing when you go visit your ranges. You need to see if they shoot steel or paper, and each range is probably going to have their own sort of rules if they shoot steel, like how far the steel has to be away from you for spalding and deflection and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, do that dry run because it's really going to help you out. Okay, you can let the roasting in the comment sections begin. I do carry a speed loader, which I know a lot of people despise, but hey. I do carry my SIG range finder, even though I technically don't need it because all of the ranges at my particular shooting facility are marked. I just like to have that anyway because I do like to do ranging myself, because if you're out in the woods, this is something that you're probably going to need anyway. So I like, having the familiarity with using it, so that if I did need to use it outside of that environment, I already have, I already kind of know the drill with how to use it. This is probably something that you're not going to need. Actually, you're not going to need this if you are shooting pistols. This is a Kestrel, and this is my particular Kestrel that has an applied ballistics solver built into it. And this is primarily, I use this for my bolt gun on my long range course. And basically what it is, it's just, it's just a cool device that does all the atmospheric calculations, and I build a gun profile for my long gun, which is a whole nother video, which I won't really get into. So just very quickly, this is just basically, it gives me a shooting solution for elevation on my bolt gun. So I do carry that because, as I said, I do shoot multiple things when I go to the range. And just kind of as an aside here, this is this watch that I'm always wearing in these videos, which I've had actually people comment on. This is a Garmin Tactics Delta Solar. Yeah, which is a mouthful. But this watch actually has built into it a applied ballistics solver. So actually, from the shooting solution standpoint, I can feed all the data that I would normally feed into my Kestrel. I can actually feed it into this watch, and I can actually have all that information on this watch. The only thing, of course, this won't do, the Kestrel actually has a wind meter, so I can actually hold it up, and it will give me, it'll give me all those kind of calculations and stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this end compartment. And in this compartment, I just carry my electronic ears. Hearing protection is going to be universal. No matter what you're doing, you're going to need hearing protection. And these are just some that I picked up. They're just electronic. And if you're carrying electronic ears, a good thing to carry is a sleeve of extra batteries, because it never fails. When I go to the range, I will go and I will have found that, my ears were left on, or my batteries go dead, or more importantly, maybe a friend of mine who shows up at the range, his batteries go dead. So having an extra couple sets of batteries, definitely not a bad thing, and it's not really gonna hurt you to have them anyway. In this other side compartment here, staple gun and the spare staples for it. This is going to be something that you're going to need if you are stapling targets. If you're shooting on a short course and they just have plywood up, and you just go down there, put your targets up, staple them up. You're going to need to carry that. And that's kind of a universal thing, because you will do that on short courses, whether it be pistol or carbine. Generally, you're going to shoot paper, so having that is a good thing. In this other side, I do carry a set of shooting glasses, and I do actually carry, I have some multiples of shooting glasses in my truck that I bring, but just a good pair of wrap around safety glasses is something you're going to need. Matter of fact, yeah, see, I actually have more than one pair. And in this pack, in this side little pocket, I just throw a whole lot of sort of earplugs. Just you squish them down, stick them in your ear, they expand. I carry a lot of these just in case something happens with my active hearing protection, or if I'm shooting and somebody brings some friends with them and they don't have any hearing protection, because my particular range does not have a store attached to it, so there's nowhere to buy anything, just to be there to help somebody out. Okay, so in the main compartment here of my pack, I carry a set of gloves. I carry a set of fingerless shooting gloves, which I don't really use too much on my bolt guns. Generally, I wear gloves when I shoot my carbine or my pistol, so I will do that. And I do carry a second set of active, these are just some walkers, some hearing protection. So I do generally carry more than just my set. I do carry another set, and I carry earplugs. And I carry this, which is a very, very good first aid kit. It's a pretty comprehensive first aid kit, but I will say this: when in my pack that I carry my actual firearms in, I do carry a gun belt for my pistol, because at our range we are encouraged to always carry a sidearm, because it's way out in the middle of the woods and we do have wildlife and snakes. So I do carry an IFAK on my gun belt, in addition to this in my range bag. So I do have multiple first aid kits available. I do carry this, which is a Hops gun kit, and this is sort of it's a on the go kit, and it has a lot of the stuff that you would need for for cleaning your bore, for oil, for swabs. And then I threw a couple extra little things in here. Once you start shooting, you'll very quickly figure out things that you need like this. I don't really go to this a whole lot, because generally my guns are ready to go before I go to the range. So outside of if I just want to throw some oil in them when I'm done, I'll do that. But other than that, this really, I don't have a whole lot of need for that. Which, speaking of, I do carry a can of this Remington rim oil, which is just a really good multi-purpose. I shoot this on everything. I put this oil on everything. So this is just a gun oil that does everything gun oils do. It lubricates, cleans, protects, displaces moisture, defends the integrity of a firearm's bore and breech, which is what you want it to do. And then for my long range, we paint. And I actually carry two colors. I carry white and this kind of fluorescent orange color, because we are required to paint targets. So after we shoot, we have to go and repaint our targets. So I carry the paint for that, and this is marking paint. Just means that you can spray it upside down, and it comes out with a lot of velocity, so you can paint targets very, very quickly. The reason why I carry two colors is because generally we paint every normal target white, and we have specific targets that we shoot magnum rounds at, and we paint those with the brighter like reddish orange color. And it's just a signifier so that people, when they shoot on our long range, they know that those targets that are not white, though, if you're shooting a magnum round, those are the targets you shoot at. All right, so we're coming down to the end. The last thing I carry are these two things. And this is I took a class that the video didn't get a lot of views, and I totally understand, because I did it when I first started doing YouTube videos, and I could have done the video a lot better. But I took a class from Applied Ballistics, and I got this book, which is very comprehensive of all of the math and all the information you need for doing distance shooting, and get into that in just a second. But I carry just a regular standard pad with a pen, and what this is from like a military standpoint, it's called a DOPE book, D-O-P-E, not like dope, but D-O-P-E. And all that stands for, of course, it's military, so it's an acronym. It stands for Data on Previous Engagement. And basically, when you're shooting long distance, and like I said, this is a whole nother video, but you build a gun profile off of your weapon and your ammo, and you want to record all that data, like cold bore shots. If you're shooting through a chrono or a lab radar, you want to record your ES and SD, and that's all data that's going to go into your gun profile that you would feed into like a Kestrel. But like I said, that's a whole nother video. But I take just a regular notepad when I'm doing that to record all my velocities, any relevant atmospheric or environmental conditions when I take all those measurements. And the cool thing about this one from Applied Ballistics, it's just cool because it's from Applied Ballistics, and it has way more information than I ever use, because I'm not, I'm not a sniper or, some kind of tactical shooter. I'm just a novice, distance shooter. But it has all kinds of cards in here that give you all types of information that is useful, to you. And plus, like I said, I actually took a class from Applied Ballistics and learned a ton. I mean, so much information, it was like literally information overload. But I also keep my mil dot master in this, and all this is just a way to reference a target at distance, and then convert that into mils for your elevation adjustments. And pretty much this is what my Kestrel does. But I do keep that because I do have some guys who are ex-military shooters that I love to really annoy the living crap out of when they come to the range, because I love having guys that have that military training and that military experience, or even just very, very proficient hunters that love to shoot long distances. I love to have those kind of people really show me what, how to do things, and I really am a sponge when it comes to that. I don't I receive criticisms very, very well. So if anybody says, hey man, you try doing this or doing that, which is another thing. If you're a new shooter, don't be shy, and definitely do not go to the range with the attitude that you've seen some stuff on movies, or you've seen a documentary about whatever, and you know what you're doing. If you've never had formal training in firearms, get it. Because at the end of the day, I did a video that I received just tons of criticism and hate on, where I talked about my criticisms toward first-time gun owners. And I wasn't being mean or dispassionate about people who are new to the sport of firearms, but there are people that buy firearms, and because we're guys, that ego kind of goes through the roof, and guys think, well, I don't have to get training on this, I'm a guy, blah 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 blah. But there's a reason why I love going to a private range and not a public range, because I've actually had guys take a pistol and hold it like this with their gun in the trigger and rack a slide just like that. And I'm standing right over there. And now this gun is in battery with somebody with poor trigger discipline pointing it at me. I'm not criticizing or hating on anybody, but I'm just saying everybody needs training. I've been around firearms ever since I was a kid, and I'm not old, but I'm not a spring chicken either. So, I'm always training, and I'm always trying to work on my proficiency and, my skills and all that. So anyway, any comments you have, any questions, comment section down below. I do read them. I do respond to them. So if you guys have any, questions for me or any comments, this is a suggested video. This is the subscribe button. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Peace.